we're still in Oklahoma, and we've been in the car just about all day having debates on all life topics.
Man, let me tell y'all something. The struggle has been real in this car. Let me just tell y'all.
I feel like we're on like celebrity death match, except we're not celebrities. And we've been in Oklahoma like the whole time, which is kind of funny.
Rough. It is rough.
So just imagine being in Oklahoma for hours talking about like all of the huge topics in life, like religion and what else?
Generations, the different generations.
Different generations.
Parenthood. Oh my God.
We talked about so many things. So, what was the question you just asked me?
So, my question was, right now, currently, I am 42. Fatima, you're what?
28.
So, my question was, what would Fatima go back and ask? If she had to go back and give some advice to her 20-year-old self, what would she say? And let me just give the preference first. The reason why we started this conversation is because right now, Tima and I think about things a little differently. And in some areas, we're just a little off. So I told Tima, I said, when she turns 40, I will be 54. And I said, we need to make a pact that when she turns 40, after she has a big birthday celebration, that following week, I will fly back out to California, and she and I would drive back to Maryland. And we would have all these wonderful conversations again. Because, the older you get, things change, right? The values and everything shift, and you start to see things differently. And I just want to hear how things shift a little bit. When she is not the it generation, that's all I'm saying. When she's the old one in the club, I would like to hear what her life looks like, what her vision looks like in that regard. So, so again, my question was, if she had to go back and give some advice to her 20-year-old self, what would she say?
Okay. So I have to first think about where I was at 20 years old. I was actually trying to go back on my YouTube channel to find a video during that time because I really don't remember. At 20 years old, where was I? I think I was 20. I started college at 17, then I turned 18, then I turned 19. So 20 was actually that year, the getting my life together year, when I came home from school. And I'm pretty sure I was feeling like a little bit of a failure because I didn't finish school because of the whole guidance counselor situation, like finding out at the last minute that I was taking the wrong classes. These were the classes you actually needed. You're 3 credits behind. And then also being like, well, I don't have any money for this. I'm gonna have to take out another loan. It just was all overwhelming, and I felt like I didn't really have, like, our relationship wasn't as close. I wasn't very close with Vanessa, my other sister. So like, I just felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to about what was the best decision. So I made a poor decision, which I don't think it was a poor decision because it all worked out, but I think I didn't make, if I could go back, I definitely would have just taken another loan out or borrowed the money from somebody and continued to just finish because I was so close to finishing. So I was home at 20 years old. I was back home, and I did not have a job. I think this was around the time when I started working at Forever 21. It's all a little blurry. I don't know if that was 20. What year was that when I was 20? That was 2010 maybe? So that was before Forever 21. Yeah, I was 20 in 2010. And I started working at Forever 21 in 2011. So yeah, that was like right before then. So I was feeling lost and confused, and I was back at home, and I think I was the only kid back home. Like, I'm pretty sure Anthony was gone, Nessa was gone. It was just me, mommy, and daddy. And sorry, I'm really trying to like think about where I was. I remember feeling lonely, like extremely lonely. I felt lonely from like 20 all the way up until like 25, if I'm being honest. Maybe like 24. So yeah, I guess the advice I would tell myself is, one, I would say to to just finish school. Like, for sure, I would say just finish school. Like, not even like just finish those 3 credits that I was missing, but like continue. Like, just get your bachelor's degree. Just get it out the way. Just get it done with so it can be out the way. So I would have encouraged that. I would have told myself that my dreams, because that was when I was in the phase of like the millennials that we're talking about now. That's when I was in my like crazy, like, no, I can do whatever I want to do. My dreams are the most important thing ever. I don't want to do anything else.
Understand me.
Yeah,
that's
that phase. Right now, I can sit here and say like, no, that's not the case at all. Like, I'm very much in that spot where like, yes, I still have dreams, but I'm very practical now. Like, I'm like, oh no, we need to make sure the bag is secured first and foremost. Like, dreams will be there, type of thing. But at that point, I felt like it was like urgent, like I had to do it in that moment, and I was so afraid of being comfortable. Like, my biggest fear was like, if I don't pursue my dreams, and if I do things the way everybody else did things, like if I stay in school and I get a bachelor's degree and I like get a car and I get the job, I'm just gonna settle and I'm gonna be stuck in Patterson for the rest of my life. And at that time, I already knew that I wanted to move to California. So I was terrified that if I did it the way that was expected, that's where I was going to end up. Like, I was just going to stay in Patterson and never move, or either just stay in New Jersey and just settle, and I was just going to get comfortable and I would never fulfill my dreams. That was like my biggest fear. So I would tell myself that you can focus on your dreams and focus on and be realistic and be practical. Like, you can do both. I think that would be the main thing that I would tell myself, and that's what I would tell anyone that's kind of in that phase where you're just like, I want to focus on my dreams. It's like, I feel like there's a way. Now at 28, I can see that there's a way to do both. And if that means that you have to sacrifice your dreams for a period of time, or maybe your dream doesn't look the way you expected it to, like maybe you don't go full force and just say screw tradition and screw getting a job and screw all of that. Maybe it's just like, okay, maybe you do all of that, but figure out how to make your dream work in the evenings. Like, figure out how to make it work around that time so you can like save up and make sure that you're secure. Because in my opinion, it's so much easier to, even though you have less time, it's so much easier to focus on your dreams when you have peace of mind, where you're not like struggling of how am I going to eat tomorrow. Like, it's harder in some regards because you don't have the time, but it's easier because you don't have that burden over you. So that's the advice that I would give my 20-year-old self. So I'm very interested to hear that, specifically the part about you said you would have actually got your degree. In a lot of work that you do now, a degree isn't necessarily necessary. You know what I'm saying? I think I would have gotten it honestly for the experience. Gotcha. Like, I feel like I missed out on the college experience. Like, I would have continued school. Like, I probably would have finished up those 3 credits, and then I would have probably enrolled in like a HBCU or something so that I could get the full college experience, because I don't feel like I got that. I don't feel like I really made like true friends and like true connections. I mean, I made some, because now that I think about it, some people that I went to college with, I'm like super close friends with now. But when I was during that phase, I felt super lonely. So I would probably go back for the experience, to be honest. Not necessarily for the degree, but for the experience. Gotcha. What advice would you tell your 20-year-old self? Or no, let's do 30-year-old self for the millennials like me.
Wow. Wow. So I'm 42. So I guess 30-year-old self, I was really big about trying to pursue the corporate ladder. I was really big about making all this money. Like, money was a very, very important thing to me. So I really wanted to get as much money as possible. And because of the fact that my track is a little bit more traditional, getting degrees left and right, getting certifications left and right, and just literally just hustling. Like, I was literally just hustling. What I would probably go back and tell my 30-year-old self is, bam, just relax. Like, take a moment and breathe it out, and to really sit down and really identify what I think is important. I don't really think that I really understood what was really important to me until I hit about 35, 36, when I started to get to the point where I was no longer worried about comparison. I was no longer trying to, I didn't care if people really thought that I was the best thing in this or the best person in that. It was really more based off what I thought, what I wanted to accomplish, and the goals that I personally set for myself. And that's what I would probably tell myself. I would tell myself to go out here and make sure that I am the best Wakia I can be. Like I don't have to be, the best whatever. Like I don't have to, whoever that person is, like whatever that person is in your industry or whatever, I don't have to be that person. But God put me on this earth to be a Wakia, and I need to be that best Wakia because nobody else is going to play this role with me. And I think if I would have done that back then, I think I would have probably been in a I think I probably would have been in a more I think I would have walked in more sort of fulfilling my purpose a little bit more then, and I wouldn't have felt like I was doing so much market time, because in a place where I was not walking in my actual purpose and actually doing what I felt like it was important, I was just always so jittery. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like jittery. I feel like I'm ping pong, like I was playing ping pong, bouncing all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Just bouncing all over the place, and it was just exhausted. And I kept having this feeling like eventually my mask was going to slip and everybody was going to realize I was a fraud, because I didn't believe in me either. So what I would say to people who are now approaching 30 is it is so important for you to really understand who you are and what is really important to you, and don't really try to compare yourself with other people, because whatever thing you have to do, only you can do that. Like that is your role. And so if you fail to do that, now there's a gap in the tapestry of this life, right? So you got to play your part, and until you really play your part and do it to the best of your ability, you're never gonna feel like you're in the right space.
Okay, so I have questions.
Oh my God.
This is about to turn into an interview. Also, if you haven't already heard the interview that I did with her on my podcast, I'll put the link in the description box. But so my question is the how, of course, right? Like you said, knowing who you are. Like, and you always start with that question. Like, you've asked me this question before. You said you start this question with like your coaching clients, but the question is always, who are you, right? And that's such a loaded question, and you know the answer to that question with ease. But to the person that is 20, I feel like I'm kind of getting there, right? But like to the person that's approaching 30, how do they figure that out?
It takes a lot of time just for you to really sit down and just think about things that are important to you. And I mean, do a lot of assessments, right? Like literally be honest with yourself and say, I don't really like that. Like I don't like that. Or I do like this, and this is why I like that. Like really, really think about things that you really like and you do not like, and then put it in there why you don't like it or why you do like it. And I think once you can start to categorize those things and like really put those things into like some kind of play, then you can get to the point where you can start to say those things and be unapologetic for them. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the trick is to be able to say that no, I don't like this, or yes, I do like this, and really in your heart of hearts be okay with people not being okay with you liking it or not liking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even when it's not uncomfortable, I mean, even when it's not socially acceptable, still be okay with you saying this is where I am.
Right.
And then most importantly, a good project manager, which is that's what I do. Being smart enough though to really be true enough with yourself to come back and assess yourself and say that, you know what, well, my thinking in this regard was wrong, either because you was ignorant, or it was based out of fear, or it was just based off of the fact that you just didn't really have the mental capacity to properly assess it. Being okay with going back and reinventing yourself and going back, you know what I'm saying, just going back and constantly, recalculating.
Yeah.
Recalculating. That is also perfectly okay. And I think once I got to a point where, and in all truthfulness, for me, when I first started trying to figure out who I was, it was really based off a lot of the things I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like my list initially was all these things I am not. And then, once you start to realize that you're not this, then, you start to say, well, I guess then I am that. And in some cases that was really true, and in some cases I wasn't all the way that. Like I was like just halfway there. Like I'm, like I would like do veganese. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a little vegan. I ain't all the way vegan. You know what I'm saying? Like I like, I want a little, I don't really want to eat no cheese unless it's mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so you know what I'm saying? And so I was okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Like my friends used to say, how you a vegan but you eat fish? Bam, because I don't know, I'm something like it. You know what I'm saying? I need to have a little something with it.
That's me. I'm a part-time vegan.
Right. And be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Sit in a room full of vegans and be like, yeah, can I get that? I'm gonna need some fish. You know what I'm saying? And being okay with that and realizing that people are gonna judge me for that, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm strong enough to handle your criticism, and I think that is where that's when it's all about really knowing who you are, right? Knowing who you are, and then after that, decide to assess your faults, and then start taking steps to be a better person. Right? Because I think what normally happens is that people will say, this is who I am, and you all screwed up, and you like, this is who I am, right. So you gotta accept me for who I am. But no, why won't you want to be your best self? Right. Let's be your best self. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if your best self, if you have somebody in this world who you admire, and you admire them because of this, and this, then wouldn't you want to try to be like that? Or would you just like, no, you grungy, and you nasty, you filthy, and you like, you just gotta accept me because this is who I am. Really? Right. How about you try to go forward and try to be your best self? And that's all it is. I mean, I'm making it sound simple, but Lord have mercy knows at this point this is like a 7-year journey.
I was just about to say, okay, you know now how long did it take you to get here?
It takes time because you're constantly recalculating. Think about it.
Like when did you notice that when did you have that moment of like, I don't know who I am? And then when did you get to the point where you were like, actually, I feel I like myself and I know who I am now?
You know what I realized that I didn't know who I was? When my husband retired from the military. Because when my husband retired from the military, I remember asking him, what do you want to do when you retire? And he said, when I retire, I would like to open my own recruiting business. I would like to open my own, I would like to, he said, I would like to recruit for a defense contractor. I said, really? He said, yeah. And I said, well, how you going to do that? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But what amazed me was everything this man told me that he really wanted to do, because he was very clear about what it is he wanted to do, and he knew that was going to make him happy, and he started taking steps to do that. And then I remember I was at work and I was just miserable like every day, making big money though. Let me tell y'all something, I was making money, but I was miserable every day. And my husband said, and I said, I don't know, I'm just not where I need to be. Like, I'm not really where I need to be. I don't know. And he said, won't you do what's going to make you happy? Do what's going to make you happy. And I remember sitting on that couch looking at him saying, but I don't know what's going to make me happy.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
That's scary.
Isn't that scary? But I'm sure y'all can relate. Listen, I ain't the only one.
Oh, we can relate.
I'm sure about it. So, but you don't really know what's going to make you happy. You know what you sort of like? Like, I sort of like this. I sort of like that a little bit. I was sort of good at this. I was a little good at that. And then, what's catching me up too? Because everybody kept saying, what you should do is this, because you're so great at that.
Yeah.
You're so great at that. But in real life, like, I was great at it, but I didn't care about it.
You don't want it.
I don't even want to do that. Like, I don't even want to do that. And that's when I started realizing, and that's when I started saying stuff like, really in real life, I'm just a fraud. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and all I kept saying was, oh my goodness, what if people find out that I'm really just a joke? Like, I don't really know.
Have you ever heard that quote by Maya Angelou where she talks about, like, her biggest fear is that at some point people are going to find out she's a fraud?
Yes.
Like, Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou.
Yes. Like,
it's so comforting because it's like, okay, we all feel this way.
Yes. Like, people are going to feel like the gig is up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's
like everybody's going to find out at some point. And I'm just winging this thing.
I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I have no idea. And then it got to the point where I started saying, well, geez, Monelli, but who am I? And, and I felt like God was asking me that question a lot of times too, like, who are you? Like, who am you? Who are you? Who am I? And I was like, I just have no idea. I have no idea what I'm really supposed to do right now. I just have no idea. And then I started trying to find little steps to try to, get me some solid footing. Sometimes you feel like you're almost like on quicksand, right? Because it's like every place you move, that ain't quite the right fit. Right. And so you try to move over here and stand where this person's standing because they look cool. Like, it look like, oh, I could totally do that. But then you really don't want to do that. Like, I don't even have to desire. And when I started realizing that I didn't have the desire to do those things and that was okay, then it was okay.
Right.
You know, and I must honestly admit, I'm still doing it. Like I'm still, yeah, I'm not quite where I need to be on that area. So let's research into this. But let me be very. I think one thing I really want to be clear about though is that you have to really be honest with yourself. Like you have to be honest with yourself. So in order to get to a place where you're okay with you, you have to really be able to say to yourself at the very least that you grungy.
Yeah.
That you ain't right. Like you, ma'am, you just in your heart you grungy. Like you real messy in your heart. I think what most time happens is people won't even admit it to themselves that they're grungy. So you're not gonna change. Nothing changes if you don't bring stuff to the light.
It's like in order to get to a place where you actually like yourself, first you have to analyze even the things you don't like about yourself, and then like get to a point where you're either accept them or you change them.
Totally.
Or you do both. You accept and change.
And some things you're not gonna be able to change. Like y'all don't know, I got the ugliest feet ever. Like, this is what I believe. I believe that God hit everybody with that ugly stick somewhere. I'm gonna tell y'all that He tore my feet up. He tore my feet up. So for a long time, I used to have all these problems because I used to like, I can't wear open toe shoes because everybody's gonna be looking at my feet and all this stuff.
God hit everybody. You know, I'm now thinking, where was
everybody got hit with something. Everybody got hit with something. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got some part of their body they do not like. Like they are not fascinated with it. This is not where it needs to be. So for me, it was my feet. Like he told my toes, like serious, like this. You know what I'm saying? So for me,
it wasn't just a tap with the
girl. It was like a beating, like literally a beating with my they're gonna stick on these toes. And so for a long time, I was like, oh, I can't wear open toe shoes because everybody. But y'all know all the cute shoes out here. You got open toe shoes like in the summer. And after a while, I just started saying, screw it. Listen, these my feet. And I even went to the doctor to find out to the doctor if I could have surgery on them. Like, listen, what can we do? Like, seriously. And I'm sitting in the doctor's telling me, well, we can cut this part of your toe off. And then I'm literally sitting there saying to myself, Wakia, seriously, you won't have surgery? Like, this is just vanity. Like, there's really no other reason for you to be in this doctor's office other than vanity.
Wow.
And then I started having to have this conversation with myself about, wow, you know, you a little vain, man. You know what I'm saying? And why is this important? Because you're thinking what other people think. So now I'm having to deal with the fact that, oh, not only am I vain, but then I have this thing about comparison issues where I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm thinking that, you know, other people think they better than me. You know what I'm saying? Because my feet ain't where they need to be. And now everybody's judging me. And now I'm also having to deal with the fact that I care about what everybody else thinks. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all this stuff. And so those are like some of the things where we talk about, you know, the things you don't like about yourself. And even though none of this stuff had anything to do with no real big, like, you know, obviously nobody, it's not life changing about my toes. Like that's not a no,